Picture this, you're out enjoying the festive season, maybe grabbing a gingerbread latte, and bam! You literally bump into the person who could be the lead in your very own holiday love story. Today, we're diving into a real-life accidental Christmas romance that proves sometimes the best gifts are under the tree, they're the people you never expected to meet. The air in Stowe, Vermont smelled exactly the way Christmas should, a sharp, clean blend of pine, wood smoke, and the sugary chaos of 1,000 gingerbread cookies. My name is Eliza, and even though I work as a corporate events planner in New York, every December I escape the city for the small-town charm of my childhood home. I crave the comforting predictability that my career just doesn't offer. Let's be clear, I was not a romantic. I was practical, analytical, and acutely aware that true happiness rarely comes in a neatly wrapped cinematic package. I especially hated holiday romance movies, you know the ones, where the stressed-out city woman trips over a handsome local lumberjack and realizes that life is better without spreadsheets. Yet there I was, caught in the middle of a bustling, snow-dusted Christmas market, fulfilling every single cliché I swore I hated. The encounter itself was a disaster of charming proportions. I was juggling a hot cup of spiced cider, 3 large, awkwardly shaped boxes holding antique ornaments from my aunt, and my work phone, which was, of course, ringing nonstop. I didn't see him until it was way too late. He was tall, wearing a thick plaid wool jacket that looked absolutely perfect against the backdrop of glittering lights. And he was carrying an enormous, slightly wobbly stack of freshly cut logs for the community bonfire. We collided with a spectacular lack of grace. The spiced cider exploded, coating my expensive winter coat and the front of his lumberjack chic jacket. The antique ornaments tumbled into the snow. My phone skidded right under a Christmas tree. I felt an immediate familiar rush of New York-level professional panic. "Oh, I'm so sorry," I gasped, instinctively grabbing for a napkin that did absolutely nothing to stop the sticky, cinnamon-scented flood. "I'm so sorry, I wasn't looking, He didn't panic, he didn't even seem annoyed. He just looked at my cider-soaked coat, then at his own. And then he let out this laugh, a deep, easy sound that cut right through the market noise and jingle bells. 'No worries at all,' he said, his eyes crinkling at the corners. They were the color of warm honey. I think the logs broke my fall. And frankly, this jacket needed a new scent profile. Call it accidental festive seasoning." He crouched down effortlessly, rescued my phone from under the tree, and brushed the snow off the boxes. His name, I soon learned, was Liam, and get this, he wasn't a lumberjack. He was a landscape architect who specialized in local sustainable designs. The detail felt impossibly wholesome and perfectly scripted. The meet-cute details just kept stacking up. Our scarves got briefly tangled while we were cleaning up, forcing a moment of awkward closeness. He insisted on replacing my cider, and then, seeing my car was parked half a mile away, he offered to drop off his logs and drive me home. He didn't have a sleek SUV. He had a sturdy, slightly muddy vintage pickup truck, the kind that looks great with a golden retriever, which naturally he had waiting in the passenger seat. I kept telling myself to be rational. This was situational romance. The lights, the snow, the low-stakes collision, it was all just chemicals and coincidence. But Liam had this patient, genuine curiosity about the world that felt like the perfect antidote to my spreadsheet-driven life. He didn't ask what I did for a living. He asked what my favorite Christmas memory was. That evening led to the next day, which involved a completely unplanned, mandatory bonding experience. My antique ornaments, it turned out, were far more fragile than I thought. Liam, with his practical, architect's precision, insisted on helping me repair the tiny breaks. We spent hours in my aunt's kitchen, sipping hot chocolate and painstakingly gluing fragmented glass pieces back together. It felt like walking onto a film set. The snow fell softly outside the window, casting a warm glow on the table. He talked about his dreams of designing public spaces that felt communal and warm, and his frustration with seeing local charm sacrificed for cold development. I, in turn, found myself shedding my corporate armor. I told him about the intense pressure, the endless emails, and the hollow feeling that came with organizing other people's perfect parties. I hadn't cried in 3 years, but suddenly, talking to Liam, I felt the sharp ache of loneliness that my ambition had masked so well. The core of the story wasn't just the charming encounter. It was the series of small, perfect coincidences that kept throwing us together, challenging my cynicism. He knew the best place to get fresh maple syrup. His family owned the very bakery that made my favorite childhood cookies. He even had a surprising encyclopedic knowledge of my favorite classic Christmas films, which he admitted to watching for the structural design of the fictional villages. Then came the inevitable complication, the classic forced proximity trope. A freak ice storm hit the valley, knocking out the power grid for the entire county. Liam, who had just dropped by with extra firewood, was immediately trapped at my aunt's house. For 2 days, we lived by candlelight in the heat of a wood stove. We played board games by the fire, told stories, and showed a simplicity that I hadn't experienced since I was 10 years old. Without our phones or any distractions, I saw the genuine kindness in him, the way he worried about the elderly neighbors, the immediate, practical way he managed the situation without any fuss. His warmth was a physical presence against the cold. On the second night, sitting by the sputtering fire, he reached out and gently wiped a smudge of ash from my cheek. The moment was soft, quiet, and absolutely real, completely devoid of any cinematic flourish. He kissed me then, and it wasn't a sudden, grand declaration. It was a slow, deliberate confirmation of everything that had been building since that chaotic moment in the market. It was a kiss that felt less like a movie moment and more like coming home. When the power finally flickered back on, bringing the harsh reality of my ringing phone and the demands of New York crashing back into our cozy stillness, I knew everything had changed. The holiday charm hadn't just created an accidental romance. It had revealed the emptiness of my life before him. I still had to return to New York, but I no longer wanted the polished perfection of my old life. I looked at Liam standing there, covered in soot and wood chips, holding a patched-up antique ornament. He was the lumberjack, the town hero, the architect, and my unexpected, perfect Christmas miracle. The cheese factor was off the charts, but the feeling was undeniable. The accidental Christmas romance hadn't just come true. It had proven that sometimes the simple, predictable beauty of a script is exactly what the heart truly needs. Thanks for watching our story today. If you believe in holiday magic, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more real-life romances. See you next time.